Hi everyone, this is Cooking with Kurt. Today my husband Donald and I are going to show you how to make a mango roll. It's a moist yellow chiffon cake rolled with a rich mango buttercream frosting and then drizzled with a mango glaze.
It's a mango lover's favorite. This recipe was requested by a lot of you and we hope you like this video.
We're going to start by making the yellow chiffon cake. Take 4 eggs and while they're still cold from the fridge, separate 4 eggs into yolks and whites. Let them come to room temperature. Then take 2 cups of unsalted butter, which is 4 sticks, cut them into 1-inch cubes, and let them come to room temperature. These will be used later for the buttercream frosting. Then preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and take a jelly roll pan, which is 10.5 by 15.5 inches, and line it with parchment paper. Do not grease the pan or the parchment paper. Next, take a large mixing bowl and a sieve and add 1 cup of cake flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 cup of sugar, and half a teaspoon of salt. Sift this in. Then add in the 4 room temperature egg yolks, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, half a cup of water, 1/4 teaspoon of finely grated orange zest, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat this together with an electric mixer just until it's smooth and well blended. Then in a large glass or stainless steel mixing bowl, add in the 4 room temperature egg whites and half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Beat this together on low speed for about 1 minute until it looks frothy. Then increase to medium speed and very slowly add in 1/3 cup of granulated sugar while continuing to beat. Adding the sugar in too quickly might deflate the egg whites. When all of the sugar has been added, increase to high speed and continue beating until you see stiff, glossy peaks, like this. Then 1/3 at a time, add this meringue mixture into the yellow cake batter and very gently fold it in, being careful not to deflate the egg whites. Make sure to thoroughly scrape the bottoms and sides of the mixing bowl to ensure everything is uniform and smooth. Pour this batter into the prepared jelly roll pan, spread it out evenly, and smooth out the top with your spatula. We're going to bake this in our preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 18 to 20 minutes. Or until the surface springs back when gently pressed. Dust the cake with some powdered sugar to prevent it from sticking. Place a rectangular piece of parchment paper that's bigger than the cake on top. And using oven mitts, since the pan is still hot, invert the cake onto the parchment paper. Carefully lift off the pan and peel off the parchment paper the cake was baked with. While the cake is still warm, dust additional powdered sugar onto this side of the cake to prevent the cake from sticking to itself while rolling. Then, with the parchment paper getting rolled into the cake, roll the cake along the short 10.5-inch side. I'm actually rolling it by holding onto the parchment paper on the sides and not actually touching the cake with my hands to minimize the chances of the cake breaking. Then place it on a wire rack and let it cool to room temperature.
Now while the chiffon cake is cooling, we're going to work on the mango Swiss-Meringue buttercream frosting. Take 5 eggs and separate them into yolks and whites. Set the yolks aside to use for another dish. Then take a large heat-proof bowl like glass or stainless steel. Add in the 5 egg whites, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Whisk this together until they are combined. Place this bowl over a pot with simmering water on low-medium heat in a double boiler setup and continue whisking till the sugar is dissolved. It is done when it feels sticky to the touch and you don't feel the grains of sugar anymore. If you have a thermometer, it should reach 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Take the bowl off the water bath, Then, with an electric mixer, beat this mixture until you see stiff, glossy peaks form, like this. Then let it cool down completely to room temperature. While we're waiting for the sugar egg white mixture to come to room temperature, we're going to work on the mangoes. Take 2 fresh, ripe mangoes and slice them so that you get 4 mango halves and 2 seed pieces. Take one of the mango halves, wrap it in plastic wrap to prevent browning, and set it aside for now. Take the remaining 3 mango halves and 2 seed pieces. Slice the 3 mango halves into cubes and place the pieces into a blender. Slice the mango flesh around the 2 seeded pieces as much as you can and place them into the blender as well. Add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 1/4 cup of water. Blend this very well until it's a smooth mango puree. Set this aside for now. By now the sugar egg white mixture should have come to room temperature. While beating on low speed, slowly add in the 2 cups of pre-cut room temperature unsalted butter that we had prepared earlier, 1 cube at a time. The mixture might start looking curdled, but don't worry. That's just because the butter is too cold and not fully mixed in. Just continue mixing with the electric mixer until it looks smooth. When all the butter is mixed in and the frosting looks smooth, add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and mix it in. Then take a piping bag fitted with a large star tip and transfer 1 cup of this frosting into the piping bag. Set this plain white buttercream frosting aside at room temperature for making rosettes at the end. We're going to take the remaining Swiss-Meringue buttercream frosting and make it mango flavored using the mango puree we made earlier. Add the mango puree into the remaining Swiss-Meringue buttercream frosting and mix this in with the electric beater till it's smooth. Scrape down the bowl to ensure that everything is evenly mixed in. Let this rest at room temperature until you're ready to use it.
By now the yellow chiffon should have cooled to room temperature and we're ready to assemble the cake roll. Slowly and carefully unroll the yellow chiffon. Then spread a thin layer of the mango Swiss-Meringue buttercream frosting on the top surface, about 1/4 inches thick. Then slowly and carefully roll the cake up again in the same direction it was rolled before, but this time without the parchment paper rolled into it. Transfer the roll onto your serving dish with the seam side down so it doesn't unroll. Fill the gaps at the ends of the cake with the mango frosting. Then cover the outer surface of the cake with a thin layer of frosting as a crumb coat. Let your cake rest in the fridge for about 20 minutes to let your crumb coat harden a bit. While we're waiting for the crumb coat to firm up, we're going to work on the mango glaze. Remove the plastic from the remaining half of mango that we set aside earlier. Slice it into cubes and place the pieces into the same used blender as before. No need to have washed the blender. Add 1/4 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch. Blend this mixture very well until it's a smooth puree. Heat a small skillet or saucepan over medium heat and pour this mango mixture in. Once the mixture starts to boil, let it cook for about 1 minute. Then turn off the heat and transfer it into a clean bowl. Let this mango glaze cool to room temperature. When the crumb coat frosting on the roll has firmed up a bit, apply a second layer of frosting about 1/4 inches thick on the outer surfaces. Smoothen all the surfaces as much as possible. Now the next step is optional, but if you have an icing comb, you can create a pattern on the outside surface of the frosting. Make sure to scrape off excess frosting between each stroke. Make a pattern on the flat ends of the cake as well as on the round surfaces. Then as much as possible, Clean off any stray frosting from the serving dish. Let this roll rest in the fridge for the second layer of mango buttercream to firm up a bit. When your mango glaze has cooled to room temperature, transfer it into a disposable piping bag or a Ziploc bag. Seal it, then cut a small hole in one of the corners. Do some practice drizzles on a plate. If the glaze is still too runny, put the Ziploc bag in the fridge for about 10 minutes. When you're happy with the texture of the glaze and confident about your drizzles, drizzle the mango glaze over your cake roll in a zigzag pattern. Try to drizzle the glaze with a very quick and confident motion while squeezing the bag of mango glaze pretty hard, which will help to create a straight zigzag pattern and avoid getting a squiggly drizzle. Set the remaining mango glaze aside for now, and take the piping bag fitted with a large star tip and filled with a 1 cup of plain white Swiss-Meringue buttercream frosting, and pipe out rosettes on top of the roll. But shape the rosettes in a way that they have a small hollow space in the center. I'm aiming for 6 rosettes here. Finally, take the bag with the mango glaze and squeeze a little bit of the mango glaze into the small hollow space in the middle of each rosette. Let the finished mango roll rest at room temperature for 1 hour before serving. Store leftovers in the fridge, and if it's been in the fridge, let it come to room temperature before serving. This allows the frosting in the drizzled mango glaze to soften and for the cake to have a more vibrant mango flavor. And there it is, a mango chiffon roll covered in a rich mango buttercream frosting and drizzled with a mango glaze. Ang sarap!
Yum!
Wow, that mango buttercream is so rich.
And I can taste all the juicy bits of mango mixed into it. So good.
Thank you all so much for watching. Please let us know in the comments section below if you're planning to make this mango roll. Send us pictures of your creations on Facebook and Instagram. The links are below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Cooking with Kurt.
And don't forget to click on the bell so you get notified when we post new cooking videos. Maraming salamat!